Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at some issues of a vintage fanzine or homemade anthology comic, science fiction fantasy, made by some high school students from San Jose, California in the 1970s. We're going to look at the first four issues of Venture. I think Venture has five issues. I think the fifth issue came out years after these, but I don't know. I've never seen the fifth issue. I've just seen a picture of it. But these are the four issues that came out when Frank Sirocco and Brent Anderson were in high school in San Jose, California. And this is the first issue from 1972, number two from 1973, number three from 1974, and number four from 1975. We're going to take a look at all of them. We're going to go through them and we're going to look at them closely because these are really cool. And this is something that you might never see again because I think they're pretty rare. And also, they're really well done and well made for something that was made by some young artists. And in addition, we're going to get in here in the later issues. Uh, the guys packed up and went to San Diego Comic Con, and they took pictures and they bought some original artwork from people in San Diego in about 1973 and 74. And we're going to take a look at all that. And they bought original art. So this is the first issue, Venture number one from 1972. My sister brought this home from high school and gave it to me. This magazine you now hold in your hands was assembled for a few reasons. One, we wanted to see a truly real fanzine on the market. What we mean is a fanzine is supposed to be done by the fans, not the professionals. That is exactly who conducted this entire production, fans. Two, we wanted to get our work distributed to other fans so we can get your opinion of our stuff. Send all comments to Venture Magazine, San Jose, California. Three, we plan on making no profit on this magazine except the satisfaction we'll get if you enjoy this book as much as we enjoyed assembling it. If any profit is by some small miracle gained by Venture number one, the proceeds will go to Venture number two. So if the second issue is to appear, it is entirely up to you. Please help us out. Tell your friends about the book. We'd really appreciate it. By the way, while we're at it, this book is dedicated to Carol, Alfred, Caroline, our financial supporters, Janice, Steve, Marcia, Bill, Cindy, Stan, Laura, Dave, Connie, and last but not least, Candy. Thank you. Frank Sirocco, Brent Anderson. So these guys went to high school with my sister, and she purchased these at school and brought them home and gave them to me. She was just purchasing these to support her friends at school mostly. She wasn't interested in what was in here. George Chelamatis, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. I guess Gary Winnick, who is from Santa Cruz, his work is in here as well. He must have been doing his own zine on his own. Advent 2 is here at last. Contents, Venture number one, an illustrated science fiction magazine. There's the artists and writers. Now, I really like all these guys, but mostly I like the art of Brent Anderson, Frank Sirocco, and Gary Winnick. Front cover by Frank Sirocco, and the back cover by Brent Anderson. Venture is issued once in a very great while by two financially devastated editors. Keep in mind, this is 19. Look at what a cool idea and a cool thing. More than what these guys did. These are young guys. This is put together by high schoolers. Really nice Brent Anderson piece right there on the back. Isn't that cool? Beautiful. This is more Frank Sirocco. Now, when I was a little kid, looking at all these over and over and over again, and like I've mentioned, I pored over these and looked at them over and over again, read every story and everything when I was about 8 or 10. This guy, I really liked his art style. I thought this guy was the greatest artist I'd ever seen. It blew my mind how good he was, I thought. The Incident by Brent Anderson. It's kind of cool. It looks like this is maybe influenced by 2001: A Space Odyssey, doesn't it? Yeah, I remember this. This is good. Primitive man killed off the aliens and prevented the alien invasion. Here's Grimley's Tales. We read this whole story recently in another video where I say yeah a bunch of times. But this is the first appearance of Grimley and the introduction to his plight. He's stuck on a planet, his spaceship is broken, and every single one of these one-page cartoons or comics called Grimley's Tales by Frank Sirocco and Brent Anderson, each one of these is going to be about him trying to get off of the planet. "'Tis Just As Well" by Scott Bergman. It looks like it's a poem, some poetry. And then it looks like a drawing by Brent Anderson. It's kind of cool. Garthen's Quest. Script and art, Frank Sirocco. It's 1972, so these guys are very imaginative. There's not a lot of influences that were upon them at this point, you know, that we're not aware of. It's only 1972. There's Warren really isn't out, is it yet? I mean, heavy metal is not out. I always liked this panel right here. All of this stuff. I thought Frank was a really good artist. This is the one I liked. Look at that. See the Zipatone? They had discovered Zipatone, and so they were using it. High school students. Maybe Conan. What am I thinking of? Barry Windsor Smith. Okay. You see that? I definitely see that. I see Barry Smith in Frank Sirocco. Definitely. Look. Yeah. He's good, though. Really good. How young he was. Okay, let's read this because I really, really loved this when I was a kid. A Tall Tale. Script and art by Frank Sirocco, 1972. So, you want to find out what your long-lost mama looks like. You have come to the right place. Jeez, the freaks I get in here. People will pay anything for a phony story. It says Gypsy, good for anything. Look at this guy. He wants to find his long-lost mama. Ah, I can see her now. Broad, flat shoulders. What else can I tell this creep? Ah, I see she has no arms or legs. You must have got yours from your papa. Hey, look at this. God, this sucker's falling for it. She has hundreds of eyes and a pointy head. And last but not least, she's huge. And that completes my miracle for the hour. He actually believed me. Later, pointy head, broad, flat shoulders, no arms or legs, hundreds of eyes, and she's big. It must be Mama! So I thought that was funny when I was 8. I still think it's inventive and fun and neat that he's doing something here that I wanted to do. I love this one too. Alfred. What's this? This is Gary Winnick, if I remember right. Gary Winnick, 1972. This is a really good one too. It's quick and easy. Alfred. Hey, what's this? Alfred paused. He had journeyed far from his wooded homeland into the mountains where none of his kind had ever ventured. Now, as he clears one craggy peak. What's this? Oh, at last, a hero comes to the rescue. Strange-looking beast, and chained to those rocks. Must be dangerous. You must kill the beast! You must kill the beast! Quite a strange request. Why would I want to do that? If only this strange creature will save me before the beast comes. He must kill it, but you must! If I must, then I must. I still say this is totally an unnecessary waste. Shunk. Now I ask you, what kind of a beast asks you to kill it? Indeed, sometimes I really wonder if we elven aren't the only sane folk around. Again, I thought it was great when I was 8 or 10 and I read these. I still think it's inventive that like a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old made this probably. Gary Winnick looks great. His art looks fantastic here. I think this is a really cool vampire. He's chained to some sort of a thing here, like a gargoyle or something. He has a gargoyle on a leash or something, on a chain. Is this more Gary Winnick again? I can't remember. I think it's cool, though. I really liked this as well as a kid. Pretty good fanzines, huh? Grimley's Tale. Yawn. Today's the day I'm finally going to get that thing aloft. One push of that starter button, and I'll be gliding the spaceways. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, blast off. Dad rat it. That thing ain't never going to get off of the ground. Shoom! And it takes off. Pretty cool, huh? You like that? I always thought that was great, too. Issue number 2. Venture number 2, with another great cover by Frank Sirocco. He used some Zipatone in here. And then he's got some, look at this. So it's 1973? It's 1973, and a kid in high school, or a group of kids in high school, are making a fanzine that they're selling at high school and at local comic book stores and record stores, probably, I'm guessing, the places. And then maybe, I don't know, where else would they be selling this? But he's got nudity on the cover. It's kind of hidden, but it's there. It's nice, isn't it? It's a really great cover. It's pretty amazing. And then the back cover is Gary Winnick, I think. Yeah. It's nice. Venture number 2. This must be an alternative cover that they were going to use, but they chose not to. So now it looks like that Brent Anderson isn't here. Maybe he graduated or moved, and it's just Frank and Gary Winnick. It looks like there at the start. No, Brent Anderson's name is there. Maybe he just wasn't as involved as he was in the first issue. Nice, huh? Nice Frankenstein and a vampire piece done by Frank Sirocco. Story, The Wizard's Tower, written and drawn by Gary Winnick. Looks good. I like Gary Winnick too. He's very, you can tell these guys were they really look like they were fans of Marvel Comics. And then also maybe, so I see Bernie Wrightson. So DC horror, science fiction, Marvel horror, science fiction. What else do you see here? This is 1973. Barry Smith. Isaac 7. This is art and story by Frank Sirocco. I remember really liking this. The Undead. A lot of these stories, they were going for like a quick twist and short stories. So they're only like 2 or 3 or 4 pages long typically. The Undead Chapter 2. I don't remember this. It looks great though. So this is just Chapter 2 of the other story. Frank Sirocco. Look at this, boy. Look at the influence over here. So this is Sirocco, and it looks like he painted this or did something here. But it's great, isn't it? These are the characters from the cover as well as the story that we were just looking at. Another Grimley's Tales. I don't think we're going to pause and read every one. Although you guys are like, wait a minute, I wanted to see Grimley's Tales. I know they left it here somewhere. Pirates like them don't land on dirt balls like this for fun. It should be around here someplace. Here it is. Money. I'm rich. I can buy anything. Anything I want. Anything. There's enough here to buy anything. I can go down and buy whatever I want. I know what. I can buy a brand new spaceship. Just walk down and buy. God of the Mists by Gary Winnick. Looks great. Slick paper in this one. Nice. This is the Ziggy Stardust story that he did. Let's look at this. Frank Sirocco, 1972. Which way did he go, Ziggy? Was it to the left or right? There, Ziggy. Go left. Follow the trail of blood he's left. We must catch him, mustn't we, Ziggy? He can't run forever with that hole in his belly, can he? He must die. So we will be alone. We've got to get this over with so we can go back home. Home, Ziggy, oh boy, home. Where is the bastard? There, I can sense him just ahead, Ziggy. Just a little closer and we can get him. Look, he thinks he's safe, Ziggy. He can't see us now. Raise your pistol, Ziggy. He's the last one, Ziggy. Blast the last one off the face of this dead earth so we can be alone. Alone forever. Plow! Well, that does it. We beat all the rest of them. We're the last mortal on earth. Let's go home, King. It's a sign, something, Franklin Institution for the Insane. It's kind of disappointing. It was disappointing. Grimley's Tale by Brent Anderson. Huh? My bubble helmet is gone. Now how in the world did it get out here? Dad, rat it, I'm going to have to make me a temporary one before I can go out and get it. So a few minutes later, it's gone again. Now I know it was on this rock. There's something fishy going on around here, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it or my name's not Grimley. Click, click, locked. Now who could have locked the door? Hi. Ah! He's stuck outside. There's some sort of an alien or something in here, you guys. Now who might you be? Block. You're not from this planet, are you? Huh? Is your home on this planet? Huh? No. Oh, then you're from someplace else. That means you have a spaceship. Can you take me to it? Uh-huh. Oh, I can finally get rid of this dirt ball. The bliss. The bliss. It must be close now. What? He just hopped into a hole and took the helmet off. Okay. It's getting a little disappointing at this point, but you can see why I might have been entertained as a kid. Or maybe not. Oh, I love this. This was cool too. Isn't that neat? So Frank Sirocco had good taste in music. He liked David Bowie and Alice Cooper. I love this piece right here. I loved this when I was a kid. Look at all those little people. He's an exterminator. He's de-omifying the park. Well, isn't that Fantastic Planet? Kinda? Is that the name of the movie? That French movie? Venture number 3, 1974, $1. Looks like a Gary Winnick cover. Still using the Zipatone. The back cover is going to be Frank Sirocco, right? Frank Sirocco back cover. It's very nice. It's cool. Very early 1970s. These guys are making a fanzine that's a very high quality fanzine. So 1973... or 1974, excuse me. So 1974 would be the first year that they would take the zine to San Diego Comic-Con. They would go to San Diego Comic-Con, and when they were there, they would sell the zine and maybe give the zine to some people, and they would meet some professional comic creators, and then they would purchase some sketches or some original art from those creators, and then they would put it in the zine. And so that's what we're going to look at right here. Now, all of a sudden, in venture number 3, we have original work from Neil Adams. Probably never seen anywhere else before except here. That's a neat piece. Sirocco. Look, he even put artists and writers in this issue. He put Neil Adams there. Isn't that neat? Now, it's possible that Neil Adams contributed this to the issue purposefully and for credits to help the boys out. I'm thinking that's what happened here. Look at that. Jim Pinkowski. So I remember loving this piece when I was a kid. I saw this, I was like, wow, look at how cool this guy did Conan. It looks really neat. Conan the Cimmerian. Nice. Flashback. This is a science fiction story by Frank Sirocco, no doubt. Looks nice. The character looks a lot like the guy from DC. You know, the DC space star. I for some reason I can't think of his name right now. You know what I'm talking about. Adam Strange. Looks a bit like Adam Strange. There's some more Grimly we learned last time. We're just going to keep moving at this point because we really want to get to... This is a cool piece of art right here. Bugs. We really want to get to the convention stuff. I want to show you guys the convention stuff before we run out of time. We're at 21 minutes. Means we've only got about 8.5, 9 minutes left. This is neat stuff, isn't it? If you ever come upon this, you know, I would recommend you snatch it up. If it's reasonably priced, you can see what it is. There's the other piece, another piece by Neil Adams that they got to put in the book. There's a Jack Kirby Mr. Miracle that they got to put in here. And here's San Diego 73. Let's just start what he says. Loaded down with cameras and tape cassettes, we arrived at the Sheridan Inn on Harmer Island Wednesday afternoon, August 15th. We didn't run into anyone but various dealers in the lobby because the con didn't officially start until 5 that evening. I've never seen so much excitement running through a crowd when it did start. The next 4 days were sheer heaven. Aside from the dealers opening, they were supposed to, nothing happened on Wednesday. Thursday, Mike Frederick gave an opening speech. It's a quick few remarks from Neil Adams, Carmen Infantino, and Walter Koenig. Later in the day, after Ray Bradbury gave a monumental oratory with an introduction from Harry Harrison from the stainless steel rat. The dealer's room was a head rush. By this time, with original art from Barks to Frazetta circulating. As 5 p.m. rolled around, A.E. Van Vo delivered his lecture, and almost directly afterwards, Carmen Infantino and Sol Harrison gave us an interesting insight into DC's plans for the immediate future. The Swamp Scene sales are all only fair. We can't believe it. Of course, Jack Kirby was there. One of the friendliest guys down there was Kirby. Always seemed to make time to answer a few questions from us, as did the charming June Foray. She fit into the festivities better than one would think. She gave us a sample of her voices from Rocky and Natasha to Brunhilde. Neil Adams was back Friday night with another entertaining segment. Thanks and enjoy. A sketch, blah, blah, that night. I don't even want to say blah, blah, because it's disrespectful. I wish we could read all of this. Brent and I met a lot of good people and new acquaintances in San Diego that we'll hope to see next year. We'd like to thank those people publicly while we have the chance. Thanks to Carmen Infantino and Neil Adams, Jack Kirby, Mike Frederick, Ray Bradbury, Walter Koenig, June Foray, A&E Van Vo, Sol Harrison, Gus Ariola, Bernie Lasky, D.C. Fontana, Seymour Vincent, Harry Harrison, Phil Suling, Terry Stroud, Rush Cochran, the Bob Sidebottom Freaks Foundation. Bob Sidebottom, he was the man. Bud Plant, Dick Swan, Chris Werner, J. Allen Tyler, Carl Taylor, Chuck Graham, Barry Alfonso, Bill Lund, Richard Butner, Ken Kruger, and last but definitely not least, Sheldorf, founder of the San Diego Comic Convention. Putting it simply, there aren't enough pages in this scene to describe the air of excitement and grandeur that the convention created. The only way one can know the festive atmosphere of a convention is to visit one. We truly hope we've brought a little of our experience to you with the art and photography and photographs of the events in the issue. Okay, let's look. This will be fun. We still have time. Number 1, Ray Bradbury, a Venture fan? Number 2, Mike Frederick's keynote speech. Number 3, Mike Frederick at the dais. Number 4, Neil Adams in the sketch room. Number 5, A.E. Van Vo after his speech. Number 6, Jack Kirby at the dealer's table. Number 7, Carmen Infantino at the podium. Number 8, we inspect original Adams art. That's Frank Sirocco right there, looking at this piece. Number 9, public animal number 9. Number 10, LA's Seymour greets June Foray. Number 11, Trekkie, Tribble, and Walter Koenig. Number 12, Seymour with Bob Clampett. And then there's the panel. It's look at Jack right here. And then is that Neil Adams on the far end? Yeah. Mike Frederick is in there, and Bernie Lasky. Gus Ariola. Look at that nice, beautiful original Adams piece that they got for the book. Another original Adams piece that they got for the book. And more Grimleys. It's getting deeper. The Sin Eater. Oh, I remember really liking this. So this is some really good Frank Sirocco work where he's drawing like Tina Louise from Gilligan's Island. She looks like Ginger. She always looked like Ginger to me. Looks like some letters in here. Really cool Dead Man piece. Isn't that great? I always wanted to do this. I looked at this ad over and over and over again when I was a little kid. I even considered giving my sister money and asking and putting in an order for Frank to do, or Gary to do original art for me, but I never did it. But when I was a little kid, I really wanted to. See, they were doing advertisements for you to pay money to them to get original art. I never did it, but I really wanted to. I should have. All right, we only have a few minutes left, like about 4. So we're going to take a look at number 4 and see if we can make it all the way through quickly and get to the convention stuff mainly. So here's another great cover by Frank. Another great back cover by Gary Winnick. More really good Frank Sirocco artwork. That's cool. I always liked, so this is like a really great story, Backworld Brigands. This is a really good story. This female and this dude, this alien guy, Guckus, they're a team. That's cool. I always like this. He's all irk. See, they're definitely a team. Remember, I told you they were a team. This is like this comical. It's like a joke Batman story. Flasher. Suppose you find that amusing, Commissioner. See, Commissioner Gordon played a joke on Batman. And instead of the bat signal, he put up a Superman signal. Okay, on the 7th day, we rested. The 74 San Diego Comic-Con. All right, I'm going to leave this like here, and if you want to pause it, you can read it, because we're running out of time. I really need to fix this situation with the videos. It would be nice if we could just keep going, but yeah, it's a half hour is a half hour. I love comic conventions, but I always end up drinking too much root beer. Isn't that great? Is that done by Charles Schultz? Is he here? I think he might be here. So we get Gary Winnick with Jack Kirby. We get Bob Clampett in the banquet hall, Milt Caniff and Kirk Allen there in the center. Milt Gray, Shel Dorf, here's Roy Thomas. The Masquerade Prize winner was were 2 different girls dressed up like Vampirella. And then you get June Foray. This is my old comic shop guy. He calls him the infamous Bob Sidebottom right here because he really was infamous. So this is the guy that owned the shop that I grew up going to in Monterey, California. He's a very famous Northern California comic shop owner. He passed away. His name was Bob Sidebottom, and he was an interesting dude. He was a great guy. Yeah, Charles Schultz was there. So look, there's Charles Schultz. So they must have got this drawing. They got this drawing for the comic, you guys. They bought it from him while there and then got permission to put it in here. Bill Keane from Family Circus. Mike Frederick. There's Forrest Ackerman. There's Forey was there. Look at, they met all these guys and took their pictures. Who's number 15 or 16? Who's that? Don Newton and his son. Okay. Frank Sirocco makes a purchase from Frank Bruner. Oh, look at Bruner all young right there, and look at that. Oh, that's nice. That cool big piece. So it's neat seeing what the convention must have looked like, right? We could run out of space or time any second, and the video might end. So as we're going out here, we're just going to take a look at some of these stories, and you'll see it's another comical Batman situation. All right, son, about those horns. Hope you enjoyed this video where we looked at Venture magazine from the early 1970s, Venture 1 through 4. If you're interested in these, they might be difficult to find. I don't know how many were produced, but keep in mind these were produced by high schoolers and junior college students, mostly high schoolers, I believe, in San Jose, 1972 to 1974 or 75. And they must have only made limited numbers and sold limited numbers, I imagine. And there's not that many around. I always love this piece. Look at how amazing and beautiful that is. Is that not one of the coolest pieces of art you've ever seen? And then right here as well. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll talk to you next time.